let's shift gears and bring you this now. Today, also marking International Nurses Day. It's used to pay homage to nurses for their work, long service, as well as the sacrifices that they've made whilst in the line of duty. May the 12th is also the birth of Florence Nightingale. You remember, that's the founder of modern nursing, which has now become known as the caring profession. This year's theme is Nurses, a Voice to Lead, a Vision for Future Healthcare, and it seeks to emphasize the need to invest in nursing as the backbone of the healthcare system. So, as the globe and the pandemic rages on, or the global pandemic rages on, nurses continue, of course, to be at the coalface of serving humanity, often at the expense of their own health. To speak to us about what they make of this day, let's bring in Cassim Lekhoathi, who's the Acting General Secretary of the Democratic Nursing Organization of South Africa, otherwise known as DENOSA. And Dr. Lekhoathi, it's great to chat to you again this year. Thanks so much for making time. I want to begin by just gauging your headspace, even perhaps emotionally how you're feeling on a day like this, given not only the new challenges brought on by COVID-19, but the long-standing challenges as well, which by and large many feel are still unaddressed.
Thanks for hosting us. May I take this opportunity to wish all the nurses in this country a happy International Nurses Day. Sadly to say, this day today we commemorated under a different cloud, which is now mixed with emotions, where we have experienced a serious downfall in terms of our colleagues who have sacrificed their lives under trying conditions, and they not getting the necessary support. That is why I'm saying today it's a mixed feeling day. It's a day to celebrate nurses and also to commemorate those heroes and heroines who have sacrificed their lives and have passed on.
We'll speak to how government has responded to the plight of nurses in just a while. But first, there had always been a perception at the onset of the outbreak that, something like a global health crisis will push even ordinary people towards appreciating the work done by nurses. Given a day like this, do you feel like that is happening?
As today we're marking this International Day, DENOSA calls on South African government and all other governments throughout the world to put clear strategies to address the global disruption of COVID-19 that has caused the country healthcare systems, which may end up being less responsive to the needs of many South Africans in the post-COVID. I must say, a lot of our communities have really appreciated the sacrifices nurses has done, and we are very encouraged the level of support which we have received from our communities amidst the shortfalls and the disruption of services within the healthcare system and so. Yes, indeed, our nurses have really moved an extra mile, and we want to indicate that we are very grateful for the sacrifice they have done. There's a report that has been released by the International Council of Nurses, and this report, amongst other things, has also found that COVID has resulted in severe disruption of health services in various critical areas where your normal services were disrupted because we have to focus and put our efforts on COVID-19, and as if that is the only thing that we're dealing with in the country. Just to mention but a few, about 70% of the reduction in community routine vaccinations, 69% in the reduction in non-communicable diseases, and the reduction of treatment of mental care disorders. So these are just but a few where we talk about the disruption of services and so on. So there's a call, a clarion call, that governments throughout the world, including South Africa, will have to prioritize and increase the recruitment of nurses, and not just recruit, and also recognize the speciality that is there within nursing, so that we can be in a position to curb. What is so disturbing at this point in time is that as we are about to face the third wave infections. Up to now, the rollout of the vaccine leaves very little to be desired. We should have been far away, and we are going to have serious problems with a serious shortage of staff. There's a stagnation of not rolling out the vaccine as one would have expected it to happen and so.
Yeah,
but as nurses, we're shoulder on. We are saying that against all odds, we have taken this pledge that we will put our patients first. And that is the commitment nurses have been doing, irrespective of them not being appreciated. I don't want to talk about labor issues like the salary increases. Just the poor provision of PPEs. It's a cause for concern.
Yeah. To be fair, Dr. Lekhoathi, if the reporting in the Business Day this morning is anything to go by, part of the contributing factors to the slowed rate at which healthcare workers are being vaccinated is because of things like vaccine hesitancy within the healthcare system itself or among healthcare workers themselves. How much emphasis is being placed from an organization like yours in trying to encourage nurses to come forward? Because in a stroke of irony, it now appears that the problem might not be the fact that we don't have enough vaccines, but it might be the fact that nurses themselves are not coming forward to be vaccinated.
Nurses have hit the call for vaccination. They took leave from the leadership of the NOSA, who have come forward and said, no, let us take this vaccine. And we've made this call throughout and say, expedite and spread the vaccination. And we're still stuck in some areas. Look at the latest, the Northern Cape, the Northwest, the Free State. Our patients are dying in numbers, and our nurses are also being affected. Now, if we have really worked around the clock to prioritize and distribute this vaccine, a lot of nurses could have been saved, because the ratio to one nurse to the number of population is very vast, and we cannot afford to still lose nurses at this day and age. So we are making still that call. It's never too late. Let us prioritize the healthcare workers, the frontliners, because I cannot say with certainty the amount of percentages, but I can confirm that it is almost next to nothing, and there's a need to really roll out this vaccine so that these nurses can play their role as caregivers and to facilitate the process, so that at least our people are not compromised in terms of healthcare.
Cassim Lekhoathi, thanks very much indeed for giving us your reflections on this International Nurses Day. I imagine there'll be a whole lot more reflections throughout the course of the day itself. Cassim is the Acting General Secretary of DENOSA. That, of course, is the Democratic Nursing Organization of South Africa. I wonder how you're feeling on this International Nurses Day, especially because I certainly get a sense that the conversations don't move forward much. But let's touch base with what some of you are saying on places like Twitter. Here's a tweet that comes in from Mohammed, who says, in this pandemic, nurses are slaving away for long days for the safeguard of our health. They don't come home after dark. Instead, they sacrifice the nights to keep a watchful eye on the sick. They are the knights who protect our lands from the unseen. All hail the nurses. So at least some optimism coming there with superheroes in frame bowing down to nurses. Atandwa says, Happy Nurses Day to all the nurses. Let's keep doing what we do best. And I guess one can't expect anything more than just that. Chandru says, Happy Nurses Day to everybody, of course, using the hashtag there, Nurses Day 2021, and weighing in. Happy Nurses Day to all my warriors out there. Always remember to put a smile on all patients. Certainly the expectation. Mufumadi says, Nurses Day, Happy Nurses Day to all the nurses out there. Let's keep doing what we can do best. Some nurses in very important gear there. PPE in some of our healthcare systems. Have your say. Go ahead and tweet us at Newsroom405. How are you gauging the sentiment? How are you gazing upon Nurses Day on a day like this, given the challenges that nurses themselves are facing, but also given just the conditions in which many of them find themselves. Tate Lekhoathi, they didn't want to speak about some of the labor issues, but of course those are also top of mind, especially amid ongoing wage negotiations, amid public sector unions and government. It all contributes to the overall sentiment. Where do you place yourself on that spectrum?